this is Nicholas Bell with Eye on Cinema, here to review Music, the directorial debut of Sia, which had its world premiere one night only in IMAX, February 10th, 2021, and is available streaming as of February 12th, 2021, courtesy of Vertical Entertainment. So there's of course a lot of controversy surrounding the depictions of autism in the film, but Sia has spent 3 years editing because it's shot in mid-2017, and it stars Kate Hudson as a young woman named Zoo, whose much younger sister, Music, played by Maddie Ziegler, who has worked with Sia on several music videos, of course, like Chandelier and Elastic Heart, we're not told specifically she suffers from autism, but based on the commentary surrounding the film, we'll just, for the sake of description, describe it as that. Music is being cared for by her grandmother Millie, played by Mary Kay Place. We're introduced in her world first in a fantasy sequence in what becomes a very repetitive, escapist mechanism that we at first seems to be just in Music's head, but that becomes suspect as the narrative goes on. Anyhow, we're introduced to Music's very constructed routine every day. She goes out on her own and journeys to the local library somewhere in downtown Los Angeles, and it takes a village theme kind of happening where there are several community members that are there to kind of guide her as guardian angels on the way, including a character named Felix, played by Beto Calvillo, who is a very tangential character and also is kind of a glaring issue in the film as well. Anyhow, after this first fateful day where we're introduced to Music, Mary Kay Place suffers a stroke. The landlord slash friend neighbor, George, played by Hector Elizondo, calls the authorities. They come remove Mary Kay Place, and he contacts Zoo, a recovering addict, and Zoo is short for Kazoo. So just so we're all aware of the depths of whimsy at work here. Anyhow, she's kind of estranged from the family. We learn that the last time she was at her grandmother's, in fact, she tried to rob Hector Elizondo, again a recovering addict, and she sees this as a chance to perhaps inherit some money so she can go to what she calls paradise on many occasions, which is basically Costa Rica, where she wants to teach yoga. Initially, she wants to drop off Music at any nearby facility, but of course becomes emotionally invested in her sister, even though there's really no interiority or characterization or character development in the film that makes this seem authentic. To support herself, Zoo works as a drug dealer, distributing drugs to high-end clientele, which we meet her first one, Juliette Lewis. Kathy Najimy plays Juliette Lewis's off-screen mother in a very wasted sequence, and that leads Zoo to Sia herself, who plays a version of herself, a pop star who wants to buy a lot of drugs to funnel to Haiti. So that's going on. The drugs get lost. There's an ongoing romantic relationship with another neighbor, Ebo, who's from Ghana originally, who's HIV positive, which also is a sticky plot point that is not well executed, but also is falling in love with her. There's another death, an accidental death happens with Felix, and it kind of goes on and on. But the conversations aside about having actual people suffering from any certain condition, portraying said condition, Maddie Ziegler, I think, does a fine job honoring this kind of disability. However, how the character is utilized is where the problems become evident, because we assume, based on the title and its opening sequences, that this is going to be a story about this young woman, and instead it slants into a rather off-kilter depiction of a drug addict trying to find herself, and becomes injected in problematic ways, even in the fantasy sequences, as Kate Hudson becomes the focal point. Just all of it feels so strange, and as if it was written by Sia and a children's author, Dallas Clayton, and it seems like it's written by people that don't really know how the real world works in several pertinent ways to how this story should unfold. And so that is where it really becomes hard to find anything graceful or eloquent in the film. C has directed some. The level of emotional poignancy she gets to in her music video for Elastic Heart is not evident even in any of these escapist fantasy sequences, which are all filmed with vibrant colors that are strangely muted, and the production design, none of it feels magical as it should. Neither are the real world sequences met with any kind of authenticity that are absolutely required for this kind of what plays like a sordid melodrama to be pulled off successfully. I think Juliette Lewis is kind of a bit wasted in what could have been a fun moment. Tig Notaro is there in the background. Lena Dunham has a moment, some voice work. It was shot by Sebastian Quintero, who also lends Chandelier in the recent Agatha Christie adaptation Crooked House, of course. Overall, I would give music 1 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.